Hey everyone, thanks for joining me again in another one of these videos renovating my small house. If you are new to these series of videos, my channel as a whole, I've got a small cinder block house. It's 575 square feet and I'm doing a full renovation on this house to most likely rent it out. I'm open to the idea of selling it, but the plan as of now is to rent it out. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos just sort of showing the progress, doing more informal videos here on this channel, and then doing more landmark update type videos on my other channel, The Homestead Craftsman. So you can kind of follow whichever one you'd like to follow or both. I want to do a quick update today just to speak on having an hourly worker here helping me yesterday. It was actually the day before yesterday. It turned out really good. Again, it was an hourly worker, so it wasn't like, you know, how much do you charge to do this, how much do you charge to do that. It was just sort of whatever I needed him to do, he would kind of do it. And some of the things we did were cutting off nails off of all the joists where I pulled the floor up, loading trash onto a trailer, pulling out old wiring, old plumbing, the ductwork out from up underneath the house, moving materials around, just sort of whatever I needed to do. And I'd kind of pull him off of one task, put him on another one, and then when he was done with that, he could kind of go back. You know, it really did help. Each hour that he puts in basically is an hour that I don't have to put in, and if I wasn't here, I could be making more money per hour than I have to pay him doing my normal work, whether that be engraving or making furniture. So it makes more sense if you're looking at it from an economical point of view, to pay someone to do stuff. You know, when it comes to this type of work, I am really fast, and since it's my own project, I'm excited about it. So usually I'm probably working harder than the person I have helping me. But again, you know, if you get somebody in at a decent rate, and I don't want to say what that rate is because it's sort of you know, his business, and I don't want to kind of make that known. I can share my own business as much as I want on the channel, but I don't want to talk about his. You know, there's all different types of people, skill levels, and you can get out there and find somebody. You might have to go through several different people to find the right helper for you on your own projects. Another thing that we did, and this was to really put him to the test, is I dug down the crawl space to make room to be able to crawl under the house, better ventilation, just whatever reason you might need more space under there. You know, it's there now. We dug the crawl space out probably 6 inches or so. I did the digging, shoveled it into buckets, and then passed it through the window. That was not easy for how long we did it. We probably did that for a total of you know, an hour or hour and a half or something like that. Each one of those buckets was pretty heavy for what we had to do. So that was you know, tricky to kind of stay at that for the pace that we did it and how long we did it for. So the thing I'm going to do now, let me just go ahead and pop it off the tripod, is you can see that these joists have been removed. Those are the pockets where the joists go in the wall, and then they go up in there on the center beam and are nailed to the joists that go into the other room. This whole corner here is the low corner on the house, so I think that water was just being absorbed into the wall. You know, gutters on the house, you know, probably leaky windows, water running down inside the wall. All these problems are going to be remedied when I am working on this, and also by allowing more room underneath. You got a little more ventilation, so things will dry out a little better if they do get moisture. You know, you got moisture comes up out of the ground, so with this space and proper ventilation, you see some here, and I may add some additional ventilation. You know, some of that air will be removed from underneath the house. Let's see, the center beam there, dug some dirt away from that, and I may end up going back on both sides and adding some additional lumber for strength, and also just to be an extra sort of ledger for adding any additional lumber if I end up sistering on some 2x8s onto the sides of the joists that I'm not tearing out, for example. And then the other thing I'm going to do is add a treated 2x4 up under these joists all the way down, and if there's any unevenness, I can shim under each one, and that'll just be one more level of additional support under those. The last thing I'm going to do, you know, while I'm at it, you don't usually get this opportunity to have this much access to a house that's this low to the ground, is I'm going to take a doubled up 2x6, block up right around in here, and then I'm going to add a center beam that runs down the length of the house. What that's going to do is it's going to take any question out of the situation of whether or not the floor is stable enough. Really, the main thing is just to take that little bounce out that, you know, when you walk in the kitchen, the dishes shake. Since these are older joists, And in the past they used lumber that was sort of on the smaller side for spans. These are 2x8 spanning about 11.5 feet. So that's sort of on the max side of a span for a 2x8. These 2x8s are older, so they're a little bit, they're actually closer to 8 inches than a modern 2x8, which is about 7.25, I think. But it's just going to add that additional stiffness underneath the house. And again, it's just because I have access to it now, and it's a fairly inexpensive thing to do while I have the opportunity. So I think that's it for now. I'll go ahead and show you some of the work for today.